The regular season is over and all the playoff matchups are set. If you check the upload date for this video, you'll see I made these predictions before the playoffs started. A quick disclaimer, these are just predictions, and I obviously can't tell the future. It's the NBA, and anything can happen, so cut me some slack if things don't go the way I predicted. That being said, let's start with the West. First up, Golden State versus Portland. I like Portland, and see good things for them in the future. CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard make a good team, and aren't the easiest first round matchup. The two teams met in the second round last year, and Portland managed to take one game, but Golden State is the clear winner here. Plus, as I said in my earlier video, the first seed has only fallen to the 8th seed 5 times before. It's always smart to bet on the number 1 seed, and this is no exception. Portland will put up a good fight, but Golden State is going to take it in 5 games once again. The next matchup is the Clippers against Utah. This is statistically the most even matchup of the first round. The Clippers have a roster of players that I wouldn't say are among the best in the league, but they are still really good. Players like Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Chris Paul, JJ Redick, and we can't forget the support from veterans like Paul Pierce and Jamal Crawford. I wouldn't want to see Paul Pierce end his career losing in the first round, and I'm sure the rest of the team doesn't want to either. The Jazz aren't a bad team, but the Clippers seem like the smart choice. My prediction is Clippers in 6. Houston versus OKC. This is the best matchup of the first round. It has 2 MVP candidates competing against each other, in my opinion the 2 frontrunners. The teams are similar, in the way that they are both heavily reliant on a single player. Harden's style of play has led his team to considerably more victories in the season, but Westbrook has had a Hall of Fame level season, averaging a triple-double and breaking the record of most in a season. I've seen some amazing things from Westbrook in the final 5 minutes of games. I think most of OKC's losses will occur in the first 3 quarters. If they're able to keep the score close going into the 4th, I have confidence that Westbrook could propel the team ahead. My prediction is OKC in 7 games. San Antonio versus Memphis. When I said the 8th seed only beat the 1st seed 5 times before, the Spurs losing to the Grizzlies a few years ago was one of those times. And some of the core members from both teams are the same today, but I don't think that should be a big factor in deciding a winner here. They also met last year, where the Spurs won in 4 games. The Spurs have Aldridge, Gasol, Ginobili, Parker, and potential MVP Kawhi Leonard, along with over 60 season wins. I think it would be silly to choose the Grizzlies here. My prediction is Spurs in 5. The Celtics against the Bulls. The best thing the Bulls have is Jimmy Butler, but Dwayne Wade's experience will be valuable in the playoffs. The Bulls seem like they should be a little higher than 8th place, but still aren't as good as the Celtics. My prediction is that the Celtics will win, but it's going to take 6 games to do it. Washington versus Atlanta. My rule is to bet against Dwight Howard since he seems to ruin every team he joins. Plus, the Hawks have lost the core of what made them successful a few years ago. Korver's on the Cavaliers, Teague is on the Pacers, Horford is on the Celtics. Millsap and some other players are still there, but overall I'm not impressed by the team. The Wizards have one of the best backcourts in basketball, and my prediction is that they will win the series in 5 games. Cleveland versus Indiana. Cleveland didn't finish in first because they practically forfeited the end of the season, but it may be a good thing. Had they finished first, they'd be facing the Bulls in the first round. For whatever reason, they didn't beat the Bulls all season. I would still predict them to beat the Bulls, but the Pacers might be an easier series for them. It'll probably be an interesting series, but interesting doesn't mean close. I expect Paul George to have at least one great game, but in the end, Cleveland is going to take the series in 5 games. Toronto versus Milwaukee. Toronto took the champion Cavaliers to 6 games last year, which is support enough that they could beat the Bucks in the first round. The Bucks are a team on the rise. It may be a different story next year, but for this year, my prediction is that they'll lose to the Raptors in 4 games. Moving on to the second round. This is the portion where the matchups aren't certain anymore, because I put them there, but hopefully most of them are still accurate. We put Golden State against the Clippers. I said the Clippers had a lot of players that were really good. Well, Golden State has a lot of players that are great. This is the point in the playoffs where things just seem to go bad for the Clippers. I'm choosing Golden State to win the series in 4 straight games. We also placed OKC to face San Antonio. Russell Westbrook has had a great season, but it's going to be upsetting to see his season end here. Both teams have MVP candidates, and I would give the edge to Westbrook over Leonard, but when looking at the rest of the team, it's no contest. OKC is too reliant on Westbrook, and we all knew that team structure doesn't win championships. As much as I would like to see him continue on to face KD in the next round, my prediction is San Antonio in 5 games. In the East, I placed Boston to face Washington. Even though we've seen Isaiah Thomas have some crazy fourth quarters, I don't have confidence in him to beat a team like the Wizards in the playoffs. He could be one of the best one day, but it's a little early to put too much confidence in him. Beal and Wall have been on the rise for years now. The time is coming where they will be one of the elite teams, and more respected like Steph and Clay. My prediction is Wizards in 6 games. Finally, I place Cleveland against Toronto. As I said before, Toronto took Cleveland to 6 games last year, and were a real threat to ending their season. Before they met the Cavaliers, they went to 7 games in the first 2 rounds, so we know they could come through when it matters. But last year Cleveland also proved they could come through when it matters. It's just hard to bet against Cleveland, so my prediction is that it'll end the same as it did last year, Cleveland in 6. In the Western Conference Finals, I have Golden State against San Antonio. Golden State did a little better in the season, and have made it to the finals the past 2 years in a row. But in the Spurs' defense, they made it to the finals the 2 years before that, winning it in 2014. The Spurs also have more depth to their team, something that Golden State lost when they gained Durant. In the end, I think Durant will be a deciding factor. He has to have a really good series for Golden State to come out ahead, and that's what I think will happen. My prediction is Golden State in 6 games. In the Eastern Conference Finals, I put Washington against Cleveland. Earlier in the year, the 2 teams had a thrilling overtime game that showed how Washington could keep up with Cleveland, even when they're playing with maximum effort. It'll be a close series, and I'm guessing it'll go to 7 games, with most of those games being decided by only a few points. In the end, I just can't see the Wizards being in the finals just yet. My prediction is that Cleveland will win the series in 7. I wish I could have chosen different teams to be in the finals to mix things up a little bit, but after looking at everything, I think we're going to see Golden State and Cleveland in the finals for the 3rd straight year, which is great. They've each won 1, and now we'll get to see who wins the tiebreaker. Key differences from last year for Cleveland is the absence of Dellavedova and the addition of Darren Williams and Kyle Korver. Golden State had some bigger changes when they lost Harrison Barnes and Andrew Bogut to gain Zaza Pachulia and Kevin Durant. Golden State has a much better season record than Cleveland, but they did last year as well. LeBron is always better in the playoffs. So looking at everything, it's hard to predict a winner from these 2 teams. I'm guessing it's going to go to Game 7 again, and from there anything can happen. But since I have to choose a winner, in end-of-game situations, the Cavaliers have LeBron and Kyrie to rely on, and I think that's the biggest advantage they have over Golden State. The finals is high pressure, and in that situation, these are the 2 I would want on my team. Go to the comments and tell me your playoff predictions. Let me know any upsets you think might happen, or who you have in the finals if it's different than what I said, or if you agree with anything I said, let me know that too. Any thoughts on the video are appreciated. I'd like to know what you have to say. Thank you for watching. If you like this video and want to see more in a similar style, be sure to subscribe by clicking the logo so you know when I upload a new one.